The Last Light. Part 1. An old lamplighter. In a quiet village tucked between two misty mountains, there lived an old lamplighter named Eli. Each evening, just as the sun dipped behind the peaks, Eli would walk the cobblestone streets and light the oil lamps one by one. He had done this every night for over 50 years. But the world was changing. Electric lights had reached the nearby town, and soon the village would be wired too. The mayor told Eli that tomorrow his job would no longer be needed. The lamps would glow on their own. That night, Eli walked his usual path, lantern in hand, flame flickering. Each lamp he lit felt like a goodbye. Children waved from windows, and old friends watched in silence, knowing this was the end of an era. As he reached the last lamp on the hilltop, Eli paused. Below, the village twinkled in soft amber light, his light. He lit the final lamp and stood for a while, the flame dancing in his eyes. Then he whispered, "Let there always be light for those who need it," and slowly walked home, his lantern glowing gently in the dark. The next night, the electric lights blinked on. They were brighter, but to many they never felt quite as warm. Part 2. The Boy and the Flame. Weeks passed, and the village adjusted to its new glow. Streets were brighter, nights less mysterious. But something was missing. Children no longer waited by their windows. The hush of twilight had lost its charm. Among them was a boy named Jonas. He had followed Eli every evening, pretending to be his apprentice, mimicking the way Eli struck his match, shielded the wind with his palm, and whispered something to each flame. Jonas had never asked what those words were. He thought it would break the magic. Now Eli was rarely seen. His small cottage at the edge of town stayed dark, the shutters always drawn. One rainy afternoon, Jonas knocked on Eli's door. No answer. He waited. Then the door creaked open. The old man, thinner than before, smiled faintly. "Come to see an old fool?" he asked. "No, sir," Jonas said. "I came to ask. Will you teach me how to light the lamps?" Eli chuckled. "They don't need lighting anymore." "But people do," Jonas replied. "They miss you." The words stirred something in Eli. He led Jonas to a dusty cupboard and took out a small battered box. Inside was his last flask of oil and a bundle of wooden matches. "The flame is more than fire," Eli said, pressing the lantern into the boy's hands. "It's hope, warmth, memory." That night, Jonas walked the streets with the old lantern, not to light the new electric lamps, but to carry the spirit of the old ones. He stood under each post, lifted the lantern, and let its soft flame glow for a moment. Neighbors watched from their windows again. Some smiled, others cried. At the last lamp on the hill, Jonas paused. Eli was there, leaning on a cane, eyes shining in the dark. Together, they lit the air with memory and gave the night back its heart. Part 3. The Keeper of the Light. Seasons passed, and Jonas became known as the Keeper of the Light. Every evening, just after sunset, he would walk the village with Eli's old lantern. Though the electric light still buzzed on, villagers would wait for Jonas's quiet flame, just for a moment, to pass by. It wasn't about the light anymore. It was about presence, intention, memory. One winter, Eli passed away peacefully in his sleep. The village mourned not just a lamplighter, but a quiet guardian of their nights. At the memorial, Jonas lit Eli's lantern and placed it at the base of the hill, the place where Eli had lit his last lamp. Years later, a plaque appeared there. It read, "To Eli, who gave the night its warmth, and to all who carry the light after him." Jonas grew up, took on other roles in the village, started a family, but each night he still made time for one thing, to light the lantern and walk the path. His daughter Lucy often walked beside him, listening to the stories he told of the quiet man who whispered to flames. One evening, as they reached the hilltop, Lucy asked, "Why do we do this if the lights work on their own?" Jonas knelt beside her and said, "Because even when the world changes, some lights must be carried by hand, so we never forget what they mean." And so the lantern kept glowing, passed from hand to hand, heart to heart, never outshone by progress because its light came, not from oil or spark, but from remembrance and love.
It's time to learn new words in context. 1. On one's own. Definition: to do something independently, without help or company from others. Example: after graduating from college, Sarah decided to live on her own for the first time. 2. Amber. Definition: a yellow-orange substance that comes from fossilized tree resin. Often used in jewelry, it can also describe a color similar to that of the resin. Example, the pendant she wore had a smooth piece of amber glowing softly in the light. 3. Apprentice. Definition: a person who learns a trade or skill from an experienced worker, usually through hands-on training over a period of time. Example, the young apprentice worked in the blacksmith shop to learn how to forge metal. 4. Mimicking. Definition: copying the way someone speaks, moves, or behaves, often to imitate or mock them. Example, the parrot kept mimicking the sound of the doorbell, confusing everyone in the house. 5. Flask. Definition: a small bottle-shaped container used to carry liquids, often for drinking or laboratory use. Example, he took a sip of water from the metal flask he carried on his hike. 6. Buzzed. Definition: slightly drunk or tipsy, also used to describe a low humming sound or feeling of excitement. Example, after just one glass of wine, she felt a little buzzed but still in control. 7. Plaque. Definition: a flat, often decorative piece of metal or wood with writing on it, typically used to commemorate a person or event. It can also refer to a sticky substance that builds up on teeth. Example, a bronze plaque on the wall honored the founder of the museum. 8. Outshine. Definition: to be noticeably better, more impressive, or more successful than someone or something else. Example, despite being a newcomer, the young actor managed to outshine the rest of the cast. Reading comprehension questions. Part 1. An old lamplighter. 1. Who is Eli and what has been his role in the village for over 50 years? Eli is an old lamplighter who has lit the village's oil lamps every evening for over 50 years. 2. Why is Eli's job coming to an end? The village is switching to electric lights, which no longer require manual lighting. 3. What is the significance of the last lamp on the hilltop? It's the final lamp Eli lights, and from there he can see the whole village glowing with the light he kindled, making it a symbolic farewell. Part 2. The Boy and the Flame. 1. Who is Jonas and what was his relationship with Eli before the electric lights arrived? Jonas is a young boy who used to follow Eli on his evening rounds, pretending to be his apprentice. 2. What items does Eli give Jonas and what do they symbolize? A lantern, a flask of oil, and matches. Symbols of hope, tradition, and the passing of wisdom. 3. Why does Jonas walk the streets with a lantern, even though the electric lights are already on? To carry on the spirit of Eli's ritual and bring comfort and meaning to the village through tradition. Part 3. The Keeper of the Light. 1. What does the phrase, "it wasn't about the light anymore," suggest about Jonas's nightly walks? That his ritual had become more about presence, remembrance, and intention than actual illumination. 2. What does Jonas tell his daughter Lucy when she asks why they still carry the lantern? Because even when the world changes, some lights must be carried by hand, so we never forget what they mean. 3. What is the deeper meaning behind Jonas's answer to Lucy's question? It means that some traditions and values hold deeper emotional or spiritual meaning, and carrying them forward helps preserve identity, memory, and community connection.